بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم أخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمنا بنور الفهم وافتح علينا بمعرفة العلم وحسن أخلاقنا بالحلم واجعلنا ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Dear brothers and sisters, for the last 2 weeks, I have been talking about a series in which I'm talking about some important legal axioms to deal with differences in opinion amongst the ulama. And so, since this is the third part, I'm not going to introduce the topic. I've already introduced it twice, last week and the week before. So I'm just going to jump right in. If you missed the last 2 sessions, I think they are available. The recordings are available online. So I've talked about 2 legal axioms. I talked about one 2 weeks ago, and I talked about one last week. Was anybody here 2 weeks ago? Does anybody remember what was the Qaida fiqhiyya, legal axiom that I spoke about 2 weeks ago? I said it's very important. All of us need to know this one. Which one was it? Close. Somebody said it. Did you say it? Yeah, correct. لا إنكار في مسائل الاجتهاد. Only 5 words. لا إنكار في مسائل الاجتهاد, which means there is to be no censure in issues of ijtihad. There is to be no condemnation, no criticism in matters on which there is a legitimate difference of opinion amongst the ulama. We talked about that 2 weeks ago. We spent about 30 minutes talking about that. Last week, then we went over another legal axiom. Anybody remembers? حكم الحاكم what? يرفع الخلاف. Only 4 words. Went from 5 words to 4 words. حكم الحاكم يرفع الخلاف. The judgment of a judge removes disagreement. When the ruler or the judge has adopted a position from the various legal positions and opinions that exist on a particular matter, then after that there is to be no disagreement on that issue. All disagreement ends once the ruler, the authority, the people in charge, the judge has adopted a position. حكم الحاكم يرفع الخلاف. We spoke about that for about 30 minutes last week. Today we'll talk about the third one, inshaAllah ta'ala. We'll spend another 30 minutes today, so we'll go until 9:30, inshaAllah ta'ala. And if we have time, we'll maybe do another one, so maybe 3 and 4 today, inshallah. We'll see how it goes, because they're very closely related, so you might do both of them together. There's a total of 5 of them, by the way, that I'm trying to cover, a total of 5 of them. And then we'll go do something else, inshallah, if Allah gives us life. The third legal axiom that's very important for us to know, to be aware of, to implement, to apply when dealing with differences in opinion amongst the ulama is al-khuruj min al-khilaf mustahab. Al-khuruj min al-khilaf mustahab. 4 words. Al-khuruj min al-khilaf mustahab. Which means leaving differences is recommended. Leaving differences is recommended. That's how it's literally translated, but what does it mean? It means that whenever there is an issue on which there is a difference of opinion amongst the ulama, it is recommended to do things in a way that satisfies all the positions. It is recommended to do things in such a way that satisfies all the positions. It doesn't matter which madhab you follow, because this is an agreed upon principle across all the madhab. Example. In the Shafi'i school, when I'm performing wudu, it is required for me to do the wudu in order. I cannot do it out of order. If I do it out of order, my wudu will not count. Meaning, I must wash the face before the arms. I must wash the arms before wiping the head. I must wipe the head before washing the feet. If I do them out of order, my wudu will not count. That's required in the Shafi'i school. It's not required in the other schools. In the other schools, the order is not required for wudu. It's not required. And therefore, if someone does wudu out of order, the wudu is still valid. They didn't do it according to the sunnah way. But their wudu is still valid. In the Maliki school, it is required to wash the limbs, meaning rubbing the limbs. It's not sufficient just to pour water on the limbs. One must rub the water over the limbs. That's required in the Maliki school. If you simply turn on the faucet and put your arm under the faucet like this as the water is dropping, just do like this. The water runs all over your arm. Or let's say you dip your arm into a lake and you take it out. And you dip your other arm into the lake and you take it out. According to the Maliki school, that doesn't count. You have to, when you take out your arm, you have to rub that water over your arm. The other schools don't require that. The other schools do not require rubbing. What's required is simply running water over the limb. Now, it's sunnah, the sunnah way the Prophet ﷺ used to rub. It's sunnah to rub, but if someone doesn't rub, they're missing out on the sunnah, but their wudu is still valid. Okay? So now, let's say that I am a Hanafi. I follow the Hanafi school of thought. In my madhab, I am not required to follow the order, follow the sequence. And so let's say I accidentally, after I washed my face, I was washing my face and I was doing this and my mind went to wiping over the ears and the head. So I thought now I'm supposed to wash my feet. So after I wash my face, I start washing my feet. And after I wash my feet, I realize, oh, wait a minute, I skipped a bunch of things in between. So now, according to the Hanafi school, I simply need to wash my arms and wipe my head, and I am done. Because I've already washed my feet. So I don't need to wash it again. I'm done. But in the Shafi'i school, I'm not done. Because the feet were washed out of order, so they didn't count. So I have to wash my feet again. Al-khuruj min al-khilaf mustahab. This axiom is saying that even if I am Hanafi, it is still recommended that I go ahead and wash my feet again. Because that way my wudu would be valid according to both the Hanafi and the Shafi'i school. If I don't wash my feet again, my wudu will be valid according to one school, but not valid according to the other school. وَالْخُرُوجُ مِنَ الْخِلَافِ مُسْتَحَبٌ. And it is recommended to do things in ways that satisfy All the madhahib. All the madhahib. Okay. I generally just, put my arm under the faucet, just run water over it, and I'm a Hanafi or I'm a Shafi'i, so I don't have to do that. Yes, I don't have to do that. But it is recommended that I do that. Because if I do it, then my wudu will be valid according to all the schools of thought. If I don't do it, my wudu will be valid according to the Hanafi and Shafi'i school, but not according to the Maliki school. Yustahabbul khuruju min al-khilaf. It is recommended to get out of differences, to do things in a way that satisfies all the different schools of thought. It's recommended. Let's say that I'm traveling. Let's say I'm traveling. And I was just in College Station, so I'll use that as an example. I went to College Station on Thursday. I left Dallas on Thursday to go to College Station. It's about a 3-hour drive from Dallas. I got there Thursday. I stayed there until Saturday. I came back to Dallas on Saturday. Okay. While I was in College Station, was I a traveler or a resident? What do you say? Traveler. According to who? According to everyone. According to everyone. No khilaf on this. No difference of opinion on this. Right? Because the distance is far enough and the stay is short enough. So according to all 4 schools of thought, Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, Hanbali, my stay in College Station, I was a traveler. Okay, I was a traveler. Now, while I was there, I was staying at a friend's house, and it was time for Salah. It was time for Dhuhr. I'm a traveler. Can I combine Dhuhr and Asr since I'm a traveler? Some of you are saying, according to who? According to everyone? Not according to everyone. This is a matter of ikhtilaf. According to the Hanafi school, I'm not allowed to combine Dhuhr with Asr at the time of Dhuhr or at the time of Asr. I am not allowed to do that, even when I'm traveling. But according to the Shafi'i school and the Hanbali school and the Maliki school, 3 out of the 4 schools, I can combine Dhuhr with Asr at the time of Dhuhr or at the time of Asr. Okay, so I'm staying at my friend's house. I'm staying at his house at Dhuhr. I will be at his house at Asr as well. And then I'm going to be going to the Masjid for Maghrib. I'm relaxed. I'm hanging out in his family room, playing with the kids. They are about to pray Dhuhr, and then 2 hours later, they are going to pray Asr. Can I, when I pray Dhuhr with him, can I get up after Dhuhr and pray my Asr? I'm Shafi'i. The answer is yes, I can. Will my prayer count? Yes, it will count. Will it be valid? Yes, it will be valid. Will I have to pray Asr again when Asr time comes in? No, I won't. This is the Shafi'i school and the Maliki school and the Hanbali school. But that Asr, according to the Hanafi school, will not count. Will not count. So, if I don't combine Dhuhr with Asr, and I pray Asr on time, will my Asr count? According to who? According to everybody. According to everybody. And therefore, it is recommended that I pray Asr on time. Even as a Shafi'i. Why? Because of this legal axiom. يُسْتَحَبُّ الْخُرُوجُ مِنَ الْخِلَافِ. So that my prayer is valid not just according to Imam Shafi'i, but according to all four Imams. All four Imams. I'll give you another example. Maybe a little controversial, but it's okay. We're learning. What is the earliest that Jum'ah can be performed? Can Jum'ah be performed before the time of Dhuhr comes in? Like Dhuhr is what time? 1:33, right? Can Jum'ah be performed at 12:30? According to some of the ulama, yes. According to other ulama, no. According to the Hanafi school and the Maliki school and the Shafi'i school, if you perform Jum'ah before Dhuhr, that Jum'ah will not count. Will not count. And therefore, you will have to pray Dhuhr. Because Jum'ah takes the place of Dhuhr. If there was no Jum'ah, then Dhuhr has to be performed. You see? So, according to 3 out of 4 schools, Jum'ah at 12:30 will not count. But according to Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal and his school of thought, that Jum'ah counts. Because the time for Jum'ah is not the same as the time for Dhuhr, according to his ijtihad. You can pray Jum'ah earlier. Before noon, you can pray it before noon, according to the Hanbali school. So now, I am a Hanbali, I follow the Hanbali school of thought. And there is Jum'ah being held in one of the Masjid. They have 3 Jum'ahs. One of the Jum'ahs is at 12:30. It's permissible. I can go and pray Salatul Jum'ah at 12:30 there, because Imam Ahmad allows it. But what does the legal axiom say? Al-khuruj min al-khilaf mustahab. It is recommended to get out of differences. If I pray at 12:30, I'm in a differences zone. The zone of differences. Some allow this, some don't allow this. But if I pray the 1:45 Jum'ah, is my Jum'ah valid? The answer is yes. According to who? According to all 4 schools of thought. And therefore, it would be better, it would be recommended for me to perform Salatul Jum'ah after 1:33. One more example, maybe a little more controversial. It is the 29th of Sha'ban. 29th of Sha'ban. And people go out to sight the hilal. To sight the hilal of Ramadan. But they sight the hilal of Ramadan after Maghrib. After Maghrib. Let's say they don't find the hilal. The hilal is not seen. It's cloudy. It's cloudy. And so, I wait and complete 30 days of Sha'ban and start my Ramadan after the 30th day of Sha'ban. The fact that I did not fast on the 30th of Sha'ban, did I do something wrong? Did I do something wrong? No, I didn't. According to who? According to everybody. According to everybody. the fact that I did not fast on the 30th of Sha'ban, I'm not sinful. According to who? According to everybody. But now let's say that astronomical calculations say that on the 29th of Sha'ban, on the night of the 30th, the hilal is actually there. It's just hidden behind the clouds. It's there. We know that by calculations that it's there. And so I begin my Ramadan after the 29th of Sha'ban on the next day. I begin my Ramadan, I fast on the next day. Am I sinful? According to some, yes. According to some, no. According to some, yes. According to some, no. Those who believe that we can follow astronomical calculations to determine the beginning of Ramadan and the beginning of Shawwal, they will say it's okay, you can follow astronomical calculations. We know that the hilal is there, and so you begin your fasting. But those that do not accept astronomical calculations as a legitimate way of determining Ramadan will say, no, you cannot fast the day before Ramadan because the Prophet ﷺ forbade us from fasting on the day before Ramadan. The hadith is sahih. Do not fast the day before Ramadan or 2 days before Ramadan. And he also said that the month is either 29 or 30 days. So if after 29 days, فَإِنْ غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ, if it's cloudy, then you complete 30 days. So now to fast on that day, there's ikhtilaf. But to begin fasting the next day, there's no ikhtilaf. There's no ikhtilaf. Similarly, if we do the Eid situation, same thing. Same thing. We have fasted 29 days of Ramadan. 29 days of Ramadan. And then we go out to sight the hilal. Nobody sees the hilal. It's cloudy. So the next day, I have to fast. I'm required to fast. But astronomical calculations say that the moon is there. And so if you follow astronomical calculations, the next day is Eid. So you don't fast. Not following astronomical calculations, is it permissible? The answer is yes. According to everybody. Yani nobody said that you are required to follow astronomical calculations. Now, following astronomical calculations, is it permissible? Difference of opinion. Some say yes, some say no. So, khuruj min al-khilaf mustahab. It's recommended to get out of differences. And therefore, what would be the better thing to do? To satisfy all the legal opinions, to follow astronomical calculations or to not follow astronomical calculations? Not follow astronomical calculations. You see? And so on. يستحب الخروج من الخلاف. It's recommended to get out of differences. However, if we consistently follow this legal axiom, we can run into a problem. And the problem is, we might end up making the deen very hard for ourselves. Think about it. Because essentially what we're saying is that it is better to be on the safe side. Yes, it's better to be on the safe side, but if you always follow the safest approach, you're going to make it difficult for yourself. Right? So when you're making wudu, you're always rubbing. You're always doing it in order. If you bleed, you renew your wudu. If you touch your wife, you renew your wudu. If you eat camel meat, you renew your wudu. Because all of these things break your wudu according to some of the ulama. Right? And so when this continues to happen, you consistently do that, you're going to find it difficult. And so this is where another legal axiom comes in. And this is the next one. I'll just introduce it today and we'll talk about it next week, inshallah. Al-mashaqqatu tajlibu at-taysir. Al-mashaqqatu tajlibu at-taysir. Difficulty draws ease. Difficulty draws ease. That whenever things are becoming too difficult, the Sharia comes and brings ease with it. When you're going down a path and it's becoming narrower, Sharia comes and expands that path, expands it. So that's the next axiom. We're going to talk about it next week, inshallah. So what's important is to apply all of these axioms. لا إنكار في مسائل الاجتهاد حكم الحاكم رفع الخلاف الخروج من الخلاف مستحب المشقة تجلب التيسير. Last example, inshallah, for al-khuruj min al-khilaf mustahab, and then we open it up for your questions, inshallah. Have you heard of the 18-degree, 15-degree method for calculating Fajr? You know, Fajr time, it says 5:16 a.m., right? 5:16 a.m. How do you know it's 5:16 a.m.? Well, you just look at the TV, that's how you know it's 5:16 a.m. But how do the people that develop this app, Medina apps or whatever, how do they know? When you go into these apps, all these different kinds of apps that tell you prayer times, and you go into the settings, what you discover is there are different calculation methods. There are different calculation methods to calculate Fajr time. There is what's called the 18-degree method. And there's what's called the 17-degree method. And there's what's called the 15-degree method. Okay? Islamic Society of North America has historically used 15-degree method to calculate Fajr. The Muslim World League has historically used 18-degree method. The Islamic University in Pakistan uses the 18-degree method. Okay? So now what difference does it make? Well, it makes a difference of about 20 minutes. If you calculate Fajr according to the 18-degree method, Fajr is 20 minutes earlier. If you calculate Fajr according to the 15-degree method, Fajr is 20 minutes later. Because it has to do with the angle of the sun below the horizon. If it's 18 degree below the horizon or 15 degree below the horizon, when does dawn break? 18 degree below the horizon is 20 minutes earlier than 15 degree below the horizon. Okay? So now, if I want to pray Fajr, stay with me. If I want to pray Fajr, and the sun is 18 degree below the horizon. 18 degree below the horizon. And I pray Fajr. Versus I wait until it's 15 degree below the horizon and I pray Fajr at that time. Which of the two Fajr prayers, the one at the 18 degree or the one in the 15 degree, which one of the two prayers is going to be acceptable by all? 15 degrees. If I pray at the 18 degree time, according to some of the ulama, I've prayed on time. But according to other ulama, I've prayed 20 minutes too early. And if you pray salah before its time, does it count? Does not count. But if I pray at the 15 degree time, I've either prayed on time or I've prayed 20 minutes after the time. In either case, my salah is valid. Valid. You understand? So, what would be the more recommended? Al-khuruj min al-khilaf mustahab. What would be the more recommended thing to do for my Fajr prayer? To follow the 18 degree method or the 15 degree method? 15 degree method. But now let's change it to fasting. Fasting. I'm eating suhoor. I need to stop when Fajr comes in. Okay, does Fajr come in at the 18-degree time or the 15-degree time? There's two different opinions. So if I stop eating at the 18-degree time versus if I stop eating at the 15-degree time, which one satisfies all the opinions? 18-degree time. Because if I keep eating until the 15-degree time, I have been eating after Fajr came in, according to the ulama who believe that it comes in at the 18-degree time. But if I stop eating at the 18-degree time, then I stopped before Fajr came in, according to all the ulama. And therefore, it would be recommended to stop eating suhoor, to do imsak, before the 18-degree Fajr time. Okay, so now if I want to be safe on both ends, then what I should do, what is recommended for me to do, is to stop my suhoor at the 18-degree time, but wait to perform Salatul Fajr until 20 minutes later, the 15-degree time. But that may be very difficult for me. Okay, that's when the other axiom comes in, that I'm going to talk about next week. Al-mashaqqatu tajlibu taysir. So we'll keep that for next time, insha'Allah ta'ala. I'll stop here because I promised 30 minutes. We can open it up for your questions, insha'Allah, if you have any questions. Does anybody? Yes, bismillah. Same thing. I mean, in Isha, actually, it's not just a matter of degrees. It's actually, with Fajr, there is no difference of opinion amongst the fuqaha about when Fajr comes in. There's no difference of opinion between Abu Hanifa and Malik and Shafi'i and Ahmed about when Fajr comes in. They all agree that it comes in at the break of dawn. And they all agree about the definition of dawn. They all agree. The difference of opinion here is between the scientists. How do you calculate that time? It's not a fiqhi difference of opinion. It's a scientific difference of opinion. Okay? But in Isha, it's actually a fiqhi difference of opinion. Because Imam Abu Hanifa's view is different from the view of Malik, Shafi'i, Ahmad, Muhammad ibn Hassan al-Shaybani, and Abu Yusuf, all of them. The Jumhur position there is that Isha comes in when the Shafaqul Ahmar disappears from the western horizon. What is Shafaqul Ahmar? It is the red glow. The red glow, when the sun sets, what you find is above the sunset, there is redness in the sky. And above that, there is whiteness in the sky, like grayish white, right? So there's this light gray, dark gray, black. Black, dark gray, light gray, red. So now after the sun sets, this blackness starts to push the white glow and the red glow below the horizon. So what disappears first is the red glow. There comes a point after sunset, after about 90 minutes or so, when the red glow completely disappears, is gone. But there's still a white glow because the white was above the red. And then it takes a few more minutes for the white glow to also disappear, and that's when the entire sky is black. So the scholars, the difference of opinion is, when does Maghrib end and Isha begin? Does it end at the disappearance of the red glow or the white glow? The view of the majority of the scholars, Malik, Shafi'i, Ahmad, Muhammad ibn Hassan al-Shaybani, and Abu Yusuf, the two students of Abu Hanifa, they all agree that it's when the red glow disappears. When the red glow disappears. But the view of Abu Hanifa was, it is when the white glow disappears. And therefore, the Isha of Imam Abu Hanifa begins later than the Isha of the Jumhur. And the Maghrib of Imam Abu Hanifa ends later than Maghrib ends according to the Jumhur. Okay? So now that is translated into 15 and 18 degree calculation for Isha time. All right? So there also you have ikhtilaf. And so what would be the better thing to do when it comes to praying Isha? It would be better to wait until the white glow has disappeared, which is the later time, to satisfy all the opinions about the validity of Isha prayer. Okay? And it would be better to make sure your Maghrib is done before the red glow disappears, to make sure that your Maghrib was not qada according to all the scholars. Right? Wallahu alam. Any other questions? Yes. Following the safer view. That's the whole point that I'm trying to make. And even as a Hanafi, I go ahead and rub my arms. Even as a Shafi'i, I go ahead and I renew my wudu after I was bleeding. Even as a Shafi'i, I pray Asr on time when I'm traveling. Why? Because of the legal axiom, khuruj min al-khilaf mustahab. Okay? Yeah, if a person knows, there are different opinions about something, let's take the meat issue, right? The hand cut versus machine cut. Some of the ulama, they allow machine cut. Some of the ulama don't allow machine cut, right? So for me, it is even if I trust the ulama that allow machine cut, I trust them. But it is still better for me to eat hand cut, especially when it's available. Because that's khuruj min al-khilaf mustahab, right? So this is the application. I trust the ulama that say machine cut is permissible. I trust them. I may be one of them myself. You understand? But still, it is better for me to eat hand cut because that's the safer view. Wallahu alam. No, you see, whenever they are, this is the first axiom. We're going back to the first axiom. If some of the ulama say machine cut is allowed, some of the ulama say machine cut is not allowed. Now this is a matter of ijtihad. And we said, la inkara fi masail al-ijtihad. There is no censure in matters of ijtihad, meaning that to eat machine cut is not munkar. To eat machine cut is not munkar, because it is the ijtihad of some of the ulama. So it's not munkar. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-halalu bayyin, wal-haramu bayyin, wa baynahuma umurun mushtabihat." The halal is clear, and the haram is clear, and between the two are gray areas, doubtful matters. And he encouraged us to stay away from the doubtful matters. But the ulama say that the doubtful matters are not haram. They're not haram because things are by default halal until they are proven to be haram. And since this is not clearly haram, therefore, even though it's not clearly halal, it is halal. It's not clearly halal, but it is halal because it is not clearly haram. And things by default are halal until they are proven to be haram. And therefore, machine slaughtered meat is not clearly haram. It may be haram, it may be halal. And therefore, it is not haram, therefore it's halal. It's not munkar. But now, it's better to eat hand-cut meat, even if I believe that machine cut is halal. Even then it is better for me to eat hand-cut meat because that is clearly halal. This is not clearly halal. That is clearly halal. You understand? Wallahu alam. Jazakum Allahu khairan. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Inshallah, if you have more questions, you can talk to me one-on-one, but I don't want to keep everybody. So we'll end here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.